Okay, come. Let's talk about Vijay and TVK and the elections. Chuma, I just want to tell you three things. Three things about Vijay and TVK. But I'll talk a lot, as I usually do. So, I am actually a DMK supporter. I think ever since I started voting, 2001 election? No, 2006 elections. Ever since then, I've been a DMK supporter, whether it is state or center. Center, I generally vote Congress. Yeah, I'll make that very clear at the beginning. But 1 week ago, right after the elections, not yeah, 1.5 weeks ago, right after the elections, I think five, six of us were sitting and we were talking about it, and there was just so much anger, anger about Vijay and TVK and the party from the DMK supporters. And I mean, not many ADMK supporters around me, so can't really gauge that. But so much of anger. What has he accomplished? And all sorts of questions. I remember telling them, listen, I can think of three scenarios. Like, I have my ear a little bit to the ground. So I think 6 months ago, I thought Vijay will win about 3 to 10 seats. Then a few months ago, I was like, okay, maybe he might do about 30 to 50, 20 to 40, 30 to 50. And then a few weeks ago, just before the elections, I was like, my God, this man has support, right? Across the board. I can see that. I can see the effects of that in the online forums, in the people I talk to. So I said, hey, scenario number three, he may win up to 80 seats and we may have a hung parliament. I didn't expect him to win above 100. That was not on my predictions at all. But he did. But when I said this, everybody laughed at me. Everybody pounced at me. I'm telling them, listen, I'm a DMK supporter. I'm just saying that I can see the effects that he's having on ground. I really think he's going to win a sizable chunk, whether that's 10 or 80. I was scoffed at. I was mocked. Yeah. And even now, as today, as he was winning, I've seen the same vitriol, just toxicity. I don't know what else to call it, being poured out by DMK supporters. Vijay supporters are called, what are they called? Anilla, some rubbish. Or they're called Tarkuris. Um, who they are supposed to have low IQ because apparently if you have high IQ, you'll vote for fantastic parties like DMK and AIDMK. And Vijay's just a small boy. What does he know? He's 52, 51. He'll turn 52 in a couple of months. He's 51. He's not a small boy. He's not a grandfather. But he's not a small boy. Um, then they trash talk Trisha. They trash talk the supporters. Why? I don't get it. This toxicity, this we don't need. You support TVK, you support DMK, you support AIADMK, whatever, man. Why do we have to bring this toxicity into personal attacks? If DMK has really done well for the last 5 years, then talk about that. Um, I think I support DMK just purely based on history. That's all. Not that they've done anything and that's why I support them. But generally, I have a feel that DMK looks more to infrastructure and AIDMK looks more to appeasing the masses. Yeah. That's all. Nothing more than that. Just a feel. That's all. So that's the first thing. This whole toxicity of name calling and all of that. The second thing I want to mention is I'm absolutely amazed at the kind of people that Vijay is bringing to the table. right? He told his fans, all 234 constituencies, you're voting for me. So don't bother who is standing. And really, he seems to have done that, right? We are coming into a political, or we are in a political scenario, I've heard, hearsay, where to be an MLA in a party, I'm not naming any parties, but to be an MLA in a party, you need to have X amount of land. You know, bring that amount of land into the party. You need to have X amount of crores. You need to have completed 2 murders. Now, the murder thing I'm kind of dubious about, but maybe for one party they did have it. I don't know. And obviously, to be a minister, to be higher up in the party, you need to have more clout and you need to say, okay, I will bring you this vote bank or whatever. I don't know. In this scenario, where to be an MLA, it's been the bastion for people with money, with land, who are actually thugs, rowdies, mafia people. Sort of. I'm using the words loosely. Yeah. I'm not saying they're criminal, but yeah, they're shady. Let's say they're shady. Yeah. Many of them, not all of them, many of them. In this ecosystem, Vijay is bringing people like somebody who stood in one of the Madras constituencies and won is 4 years my senior in one of the schools I studied in. Somebody else who stood in another constituency in TN and won is the 30-year-old son of Vijay's driver, according to a news report. These are the kind of people he's bringing to the fore. So, on one side, I have all these shady characters. We will have land, we will have power, we will have money. On another side, Vijay is saying, you know what, don't worry about who I'm bringing to the fore. Vote for me, I'll take care. I think I love that. I think that's brilliant. I don't know if he can pull it off. I saw a very similar thing in the current DMK reign for the last 5 years. I think the first 1.5 years till November 2022, the councillor elections, ward elections hadn't completed. So Stalin was kind of hands on a lot of things, and it was actually really good. Governance was really good. Then I think things went downhill when people got into the fore. So obviously, Vijay cannot micromanage 234 constituencies, or at least the 108 constituencies that they seem to have won. But we'll see. Yeah. The third thing is, I actually did a bit of research. One of the common complaints by non TVK supporters or TVK haters seems to be, what has Vijay done? What has he proved? See, before you come into politics, you can't prove. This is like that catch 22, right? When you get out of college, everybody wants experience. But if nobody is going to hire a fresher, then how are you going to gain experience? That kind of catch 22. So I actually looked at data. Let's see how well or how poorly we've been governed. And I kind of took it, I didn't look at the immediate post independence data. I looked at data from 1971. That is the first time MJR came in. 1971, 77, 84. Those were the 3 times he became chief minister. Then 91 when Jayalalitha took over, 96, 2001. Then the 5-year cycles that we've had for the last 35 years. Yeah. I looked at all of this. 3 key metrics, right? One, which signify development of a state. One is infant mortality rate. Yeah, that matters. Two, because it shows healthcare, it shows practices, culture, social practices, all of that. Two, I looked at public distribution system. We say we're going to distribute X amount of grain. How much is actually getting distributed? Which means there's corruption in the distribution system. Numbers for that were iffy before the 90s, so they're estimates. But from the 90s, we have good data. And the third factor I looked at is the percentage of fiscal deficit. Percentage of fiscal deficit, the fiscal deficit as a percentage of our state GDP, which is GDSP. Yeah. So the first two, interestingly, have been continuously declining, which is a good thing. I think infant mortality rate in 1971 was around 111, 100 and something in Tamil Nadu. And right now in 2026, it's estimated to be about 10 or 11 per thousand births. That's a huge growth. And it's consistent. Regardless of which party is coming to power, this has been dropping. Same for public distribution system effectiveness. We were ineffective to about 50-60%, which means there was a lot of wastage, mismanagement, corruption in the 70s, and it's been consistently declining. We are now estimated to be at 4%. That's really good, especially because the Indian average seems to be around 44%. So Tamil Nadu is really good at this. And this also has been consistently dropping regardless of which political party is in power. That's fantastic. But what that tells me is, regardless of which party comes to power at the top, the ground for us is so well laid with a foundation because we've got great systems, administrative systems that make sure our health, public distribution, all of this keeps moving forward. We've got good administrative system offices, IAS, IFS, IPS, whatever, all those systems, everything. Civil services, yeah? So fantastic. What about the third metric I looked at? Fiscal deficit as a percentage of our GDSP. It was kind of managed until 2001 when AIADMK came back in power and they said, hey, you know what? We're going to do freebies. Free laptop, free bicycle, free this, free that. That really made a huge dent in our fiscal deficit. I think it jumped 3x, so that's about 300%. From about 2% of our GDSP, it moved about 7 point whatever percent of our GDSP, something like that. I'm just approximating numbers, but yeah. And after 2001, the parties have been competing with each other. You are giving this much freebie, I will give that much freebie. You give two freebies, I will give four freebies, whatever. And that's really messing with our fiscal deficit. So here's the thing, I have no idea if Vijay is going to fix this. I have no idea if he's going to make it worse or if he's going to kill this culture of freebies. Already it is, I've heard from a couple of people saying, one person saying they voted for DMK because DMK gave them money during the last 5 years. But if that was so good, we should have more people, we should have had more people voting for DMK. I've heard on the opposite side people saying people who were asked to vote for DMK and AIADMK got money. I voted for TVK, I did not get money. So Vijay seems to be doing something or seems capable, seems poised to do something different. And I really am going to wait and see. I'm going to wait and hope that the next 5 years is not squandered away, that the next 5 years is really the faith vote that the people have put in Vijay and the TVK will not be in vain, that he will at least try and do the best that he can. I mean, he's just one man. Um, there are 108 constituencies that his party is ruling. So we will see. Yeah. So why write him off now itself? Why start by saying all of those other things, negative things about TVK, about his party supporters, about Vijay, about Trisha? I mean, How does any of that matter, right? And oh, for the ones who are saying, oh, his fans are terrible, look at what his fans are doing. Come on, are we really forgetting how Tamil people are? This is how we are. We do this. Um, some instances that come to mind are around 2016 or something. I think when Jayalalitha had a case against her, or when she was going to win the election or something, a police officer cut off a finger and said, "For Amma, I'm cutting off a finger." Or let's go right back to the late 50s, 60s when the center was trying to impose Hindi on all the states in the country. I think there were at least three people who gave up their lives, committed suicide for the cause of Tamil. I remember, vaguely remember somebody in Trichy. Remember reading. Of course, I wasn't alive back then. Um, Somebody in Trichy wrote a suicide note, poured petrol, and set a light to themselves. This is who we are. This is Tamil people, right? Maybe not the person watching this video, maybe not me who's doing this video, but this is who we are. So if you're saying Vijay fans are Tarkuri, I think Tamil people at a certain level, we are Tarkuri. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I don't think there is much there. Let's just look at where the next 5 years take us. Yeah. And be nice to the people who don't have the same fan support for the same parties and ideologies and whatever that we support. Yeah. Because isn't that what Christian is?